When you think of famous artists, names like Picasso, Monet, Van Gogh all come to mind. Although the money usually doesn't start rolling in for famous artists, as they say, until they're gone. Not so much for the person we're going to introduce you to today. A local teenager is starting to take the art world by storm, and she is right here in our own backyard. Lauren Voyers is an art prodigy, is what we're going to call you, a young art prodigy, along with Ben Valente, who's an art publisher, and is the one who discovered Lauren. It's good to have both of you here today. We're really excited about this.
Thank you.
Lauren, I had a chance to come over to your studio and see some of your artwork. When did you start painting?
The first memories I have of painting were probably when I was about 13 years old. I had like a little paint by number set, and you know, you get a little tired of staying within the lines in that kind of area of art, and so I decided to take the paints and find some canvases, and I made my first painting through them.
Well, you know, you start hearing this word art prodigy attached to your name. Does that make you uncomfortable, or are you kind of like, I don't understand, I don't get it, or do you look at your work and you say, you know what, I am good?
Well, I mean, like, I know I can paint, but, you know, I always feel like there's room for improvement, and so I don't really feel I'm a prodigy of sorts, but I feel that I'm good at what I do, and I can always, you know, improve my craft and get better.
Well, you love to paint and you love your artwork. I have been to art museums. I know artwork, but I don't know a history of it. Like Ben Valente, this is really what you do.
Yeah.
You discover young people who have a gift.
Yep.
You definitely have an eye for talent. So you are really our art history buff here on the set today. How did you first find out about Lauren, and what was it that popped out at you?
Actually, it was a lady in the office named Charlotte who found her on a website. I think her mother had posted some paintings on, and she sort of said, take a look at this, and you know, you look at this, and what caught my eye was that Lauren is doing something that I have never seen before in any art prodigy, which is that she's naturally melding surrealism with cubism. And even the great masters like Picasso and Dali tried to do that and failed. So here was a 17-year-old doing it seemingly effortlessly. So, you know, that of course got our attention and looked into it, and here we are.
So when you would look at her artwork, you thought, this looks like a master painter when I'm looking at it.
Yep.
This didn't look like just some kid who was of copying something that they saw off of a sheet of paper.
Yeah. No, this is art at an extraordinarily sophisticated level. If you didn't know any better, you would expect that the artist has had 30 or 40 years of perfecting their craft. So it's difficult to sort of get your brain around the fact that this is art by an artist who's maybe only been perfecting her craft for 4 or 5 years. It's a gift.
Lauren, when you first started painting, were you doing it just because you loved it, or did you think, maybe I could make a living off of this and sell paintings?
Well, it's always kind of been like a little secret dream to, you know, become a painter, but, you know, most people don't feel as if they can ever have the opportunity to live out what they completely dream to do, you know, but it's just really cool because I feel like I'm able to do what I've always wanted to do since I was like a little girl, and it's just a really amazing experience.
Before you met Ben, can you remember the first painting you sold and what you sold it for?
I actually sold, it's one of my favorites. I sold a series of 3 large canvases, and I think they sold for about $1,000 for the 3 paintings, and they were about 36 by 48, and they went to someone in Avon, and so.
And so, Ben, you would say that they probably got a steal, right?
They got a steal.
Now, explain a little bit more to the art world, because what I always think is once an artist is gone, that's when their paintings and their artwork tends to be worth a lot of money. Is that not necessarily the case today?
No. That was true at a time before the internet and before television and before we had such an ability to learn about great artists. You know, 100 years ago, the artists you're talking about essentially were confined maybe to one city, and it took decades for the word to spread about their mastery. Now, of course, you can let the world know about a great artist like Lauren in mere minutes. And so that thing about having to drop dead before you get recognition is kind of a thing of the past.
So now, what is her artwork worth? What can her artwork sell for?
Most of the paintings that she's creating now are selling up to $20,000, and they're selling faster than she can paint them. The art world, a prodigy of this caliber And with this ability, particularly in Lauren's case, with such a range that she can paint Cubism and Surrealism and then paint American traditionalism, that's never been seen before, and so the art world is just on fire for her work now.
I mean, I think back to when I was 18. I would have been excited if I got $200 for something I would have painted. Of course, I don't have your talent. I mean, when you hear a number like $20,000, are you like, how is this possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary to think like something you can make yourself is like worth that much. But I mean, I don't know, it's just really exciting and it's surreal.
What was the first thing you bought when you got a check in the mail?
I bought a Mac.
You did?
Yeah. It's really nice.
You love your Mac. So, but it wasn't to go out and go shop. You weren't buying clothes or anything like that?
Oh, no. I bought some clothes.
You're like, oh, no, I did that too.
Yeah.
Buy a purse.
But the computer's my big splurge.
Now, how many paintings really before you met Ben and he introduced you to people in the art world who can appreciate and will pay top dollar for your artwork, how many paintings were you painting, should I say, a week, a year, a month?
Prior to Ben, I was probably painting about 8 paintings a year, 8 to 10.
And now how many are you painting?
About 8 to 10 a month.
Okay.
So it's like a big leap, but I'm adjusting really well, and it's like, it's just not nearly as difficult as I had imagined that could be.
Yeah, I know. I think our cameras came to visit you and caught you painting. Is that a sort of a peaceful thing for you? Because really the other interesting part of this whole story, which you're very open about, is that you suffer from bipolar disorder. Mm-hmm. And you use, is painting really an outlet for you or a form of therapy, would you say?
Yeah, it's definitely very therapeutic. And, you know, suffering from bipolar, I have just a large spectrum of emotions and feelings going on, and like through that it's really easy to just, you know, throw that on canvas, because, you know, I can just create such a different like body of work, whether it be landscapes or cubism.
How did it really end up changing your life for you prior to not using painting as an outlet? I mean, can you describe what life was like or what a day was like for you prior to being able to use your talent as therapy?
Well, I kind of always have used it as therapy. I mean, since I was a little kid, I can always remember doing like crafts, not necessarily painting, but just outlet of any form, whether it be like tennis or art, you know. So I kind of always have had an outlet of some sort.
Now, Ben, you are about to take Lauren on tour, right? She has a national tour coming up,
she does,
which is a pretty big deal, isn't it, for an 18-year-old?
Actually, she's been signed for a national exhibit tour to 17 major cities in the U.S. by the largest gallery chain in the country, which is, you know, frankly, something that's unheard of. And she's also been signed for an international exhibit tour all through, in fact, we leave for the Caribbean in a bit, and then all through Europe in the summertime. So she's gone from, I guess you'd say, local notoriety to international fame in a short period of time.
It's really pretty overwhelming. So you'll be going to some places that you've never visited before?
Yeah.
Where are you most excited to go?
Europe, for sure.
Never been to Europe at all, right?
No.
And you have a trip to New York coming up too. Have you not been to New York yet?
No, I've never been there.
So what will you? Well, now will you have some free time, or is it all work?
For now, it's just going to be, you know, nose to the grindstone, but I don't mind it. It's not like it's a chore.
Yeah. Now, a big part of this relationship that you two have merged too is to become involved in some charity work as well. So what's the next step for you with your charity work?
Well, I was invited to work on a global peace initiative, and basically it's just making a bunch of sculptures for each continent. And so we're already starting to come up with ideas and thinking about what it's going to be like, and the first one is going to be in Europe. So,
well, we're all so proud of you right here in Westlake. You're just right down the street from me. I love it. I can say I knew you when, and so when you're really big and famous, you'll have to come back here again.
I will.
Okay. And now, do you have a website, or how, if there's somebody watching who's interested in picking up some of Lauren's artwork?
LaurenVoyersArt.com.
Okay. Well, we'll have to put that on our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really good to have you here.
Thank you
nice
very
to
much.
meet you, Ben.
You bet.